My name is Arlene, and I am from Thunder Bay, Northwestern Ontario, Canada. I'm the founder of Circle Bound Strategies, and I've worked in the mental health, crisis response, community wellness, and leadership development field for more than 30 years. Throughout my career, I've supported individuals, families, and communities experiencing trauma, grief, crisis, and recovery. Much of my work has focused on creating safe spaces where people feel heard, valued, respected, and connected again. As a traditional Indigenous woman, many of my teachings have been rooted in relationship building, storytelling, cultural safety, community empowerment, and the belief that healing begins when people feel a sense of belonging. My involvement in community health is driven by a commitment to helping communities strengthen wellness from within while honoring the wisdom, resilience, and strengths that already exist within them. In Canada, community health is supported through a combination of hospitals, public health systems, Indigenous organizations, schools, mental health agencies, community health centers, and grassroots programs. Many dedicated professionals and community leaders work tirelessly to improve health and well-being. However, access to care remains unequal, particularly in northern, rural, remote, and Indigenous communities where people often face significant barriers to services. While there has been growing recognition of trauma-informed care, mental health, and culturally safe approaches, many communities continue to experience challenges such as limited funding, workforce shortages, long wait times, housing concerns, food insecurities, and the lasting impacts of intergenerational trauma and colonization. Despite these challenges, I remain hopeful. Across Canada, more organizations are beginning to recognize that health extends beyond physical well-being. True health includes emotional, mental, spiritual, cultural, environmental, and relational wellness. This broader understanding is helping create more holistic approaches to community health and healing. One of the most important lessons I have learned is that the health of people can never be separated from the health of the land. In many Indigenous teachings, the land is not viewed as a resource to be used, but as a living relationship that sustains and teaches us. When the land is harmed, communities are affected as well. Climate change, environmental degradation, food insecurity, displacement, and loss of access to traditional lands can have profound impacts on mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and cultural well-being. I have also learned that vulnerable populations often experience the effects of environmental and social inequities first and most severely. Because of this, climate justice and community health must be viewed as interconnected. Healing communities requires more than treating symptoms. It requires restoring relationships with the land, with culture, with identity, and with one another. Sustainable health outcomes are more likely when people feel connected to something larger within themselves and when communities are empowered to protect both people and the environments that support them. I have learned that communities are strongest when people feel respected, included, and genuinely heard. People rarely respond well to being judged, talked at, or treated as statistics. They respond to trust, humility, honesty, and authentic relationships. Some of the most powerful moments I have witnessed began with simple conversations where people felt safe enough to share their experiences openly. I have also learned that communities already possess tremendous wisdom, resilience, and solutions. The role of a community health worker is not to rescue people, but to walk alongside them, create opportunities for meaningful dialogue, and support communities in recognizing and building upon their own strengths. Real change happens when people feel ownership of the process. Lasting solutions are often created with communities, not for them. My advice for community healthcare workers would be to never lose your humanity in this work. Education, policies, research, and professional skills, they're all important. However, people will often remember how you made them feel long after they have forgotten the details of a program or service that you provided. Over the years, I've learned that people remember whether they felt seen, respected, valued, and treated with dignity during some of the most difficult times of their lives. Learn to listen deeply, approach communities with humility rather than assumptions. Be willing to learn from the people you serve. Some of the greatest teachers you will ever meet may not hold professional titles, but they carry lived experience, wisdom, and knowledge that cannot be found in textbooks. I would also encourage new workers to care for their own wellness. Burnout, secondary trauma, and compassion fatigue are very real in helping professionals. Are very real in helping professions. You cannot continually pour from an empty cup. Most importantly, remember the small acts of compassion matter. A kind word, a listening ear, a moment of respect, or simply showing up consistently can have a profound impact on someone's life. Healing does not always begin with grand solutions. Sometimes healing begins when a person feels seen, respected, and no longer alone.